we'll get more into the your footy journey now, because I know you do have an interesting one, like and a really long one.
Yeah.
So you've gone up through the Dragons ranks, then you've moved to Cowboys after that. Okay, so that's a massive decision, and we were talking a little bit about it before, especially as a young Lebanese man, having to move away from home. So talk us through that move.
So when I was playing Dragons, I wasn't even going to play for SG Ball. I remember I wanted to quit footy. I actually wanted to quit footy because I wasn't making dogs. And as a young, that's what I always say, and that's why, thank God, when there's young kids coming up, I always say this to them, like, I never made like no Australian schoolboys. I never made Harold Matts, and that's why I say to young kids who don't make it, like, just never give up. You don't need to make all that stuff when you get older. You realize that as well. There's, you don't need to make all the squads when you're younger. So as a young kid, I did get heartbroken, and I remember mum and dad were telling me, like, just play for Dragons, and if you enjoy it, then whatever's meant to be, meant to be. God's very, it's all on the right path. So, I played Dragons and then was doing pretty good, and then once a couple offers came in, and I was in shock. I was like, wow, the clubs want me. And then when Cowboys came in, they were the only club to offer me an NRL contract in my final year, which would have been last year. So my final year, so they said low tier contract, and then it was a top 30 contract. So they told me, you're going to be training with Jason Tamalolo, you're going to be training these players. As a young kid, you freak out. So I was like it was a hard decision, but mum and dad, obviously mum never doesn't want it to happen. Dad, but they said, it's for your career, and like we know that, we know you're going to be all right, and then thank God I said, I'll go up there, kill it for 3 years, and then if it's meant to be, I'll be back home, with my family. So it wasn't easy. It was pretty hard. My first day there, I remember, because I just turned 18 and then I moved, so I was still very young, and it was the best thing. But I always say this, as a young kid, especially in Sydney, it wasn't like lots of you got the Agilia, lots of going out as soon as you turn 18. So the best thing for me was to go there because there was nothing there other than footy. So my life, I said, I'm there to play footy. Nice. I'm there just to play footy and then do my job, and then everything will work out. And then obviously then COVID happened. But, so it was hard. It wasn't easy.
Yeah. So just for a bit of context, it's very important for our beautiful internet people at home to know that as a young Middle Eastern man, a Lebanese, that you just don't move out of home. You just don't leave the family before you get married.
Exactly.
And then for your parents to actually give you their blessing and say, it's okay, go to North Queensland. That's a beautiful dynamic there where, you're chasing your dream. Your parents wanted to be supportive of you, and they obviously trusted in their ability as parents and the way that they raised you to know that you were going to be okay going over there.
Yeah, 100%. They raised me, thank God, very good. And, and when I was up there too, it wasn't just me sacrificing, it's my parents sacrificing too. It's all my family sacrificing. That's what I had to realize too. It wasn't just me, being upset. Like every time I'm upset, they're upset. So I remember my tata, which is my grandmother, told my mum, what are you doing? Like she said, nah, what are you doing? And then, they don't know now they know what sport is because, they only watch me play now. But at the time they didn't know. They said, no way, he can't go. And then eventually mum said, it's for his dream. Like, I'll do anything for him to be happy, to follow his dream, and, he'll be back. So, it's not really common for us to move out. But, my parents, thank God, raised me to have that faith in myself to, be very independent. Thank God, those years where I was on my own, I learned lots. And when I come back now, I realize how, how much family means to me. And that's what,
Amazing. Did they ever visit you in North Queensland?
Yeah, they were coming in lots. Thank God, they were coming lots. Before my first game, then COVID happened, but my first game in the preseason, they were coming. My brothers and my uncle and my, mum and dad, they all came up. So it was good having them there. So I knew they were always, and, ringing mum every day before. That's how it is. Ring mum and dad.
That's it, yeah. She needs to know you're alive.
If we don't hear from you every day, you're in trouble.
Exactly.
No, that's awesome. And on that, it's not just them letting you do it, but to have them backing you and saying like, yeah, you can do this. Like that would have been massive as well. Not just the allowance of you to go, but the support as well and the belief in you to have done it. That would have been massive.
It was crazy. I remember I was up there, and the first day I got there, I remember the next morning, because I'm used to waking up in a house, us five.
Yeah.
And it was always loud, brothers arguing. I woke up and it was just because I was staying at a homestay there. I wasn't living on my own. I was staying in a homestay where, family or a mum and dad will take you in, especially as a young kid. So my parents full came and met the family. Well, like lots of others don't. But my family had to see who I'm staying with. So they were the best to me. They helped me heaps. So they'll cook for you and all that stuff. So I was staying there first day, woke up and I just started, it just hit me all at once because it was all the hype around, you're moving out and like you're moving up and all that. But then when you're actually there, it just hit me, you start crying and all that. And I remember every night, that's where I think my faith got a bit stronger because every night I always said, like sometimes even it was questioning God, which, it's like sometimes we do. But I remember saying like why am I here? Like I said, like, why does this have to be my path? But then now I look back at it and I say, thank God that was my path.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. But.
And so did Mum approve of the homestay cooking?
Yeah, it was just
there's nothing like Mum's cooking at
nothing,
home.
nothing. But it was just steak, potatoes every day. I was on a diet too there, so just everything that Cowboys sent her to make me, just making me all that. So
okay,
it was good. She was very nice. Thank God. She still messaged me if I play a good game, so we're still in touch. So yeah,
that's beautiful.
That's nice. Shout out to that family that kept Jacob with them. God bless you. And you mentioned like your faith probably got stronger there, and it's something like those questions are important to ask. Like why am I in this situation now? And sometimes you don't get a straight answer. Like I'm sure there would have been nights where you were like, hello, like is anyone there? Like listen to me, sort of thing. And sometimes it takes those years, like what is it, 3 or 4 years later now, where you're going, okay, I see why now.
Exactly.
So it's the patience as well, which is a beautiful thing. All right, so Cowboys. And
did you play a first grade game for the Cowboys?
Nah, because I just turned 18 and I was training with the reserve grade side at the time. So I was still young. I was really young, but I was supposed to train with 20s. But because I did pretty good in the trials, they pushed me up to reserve grade. And I was going really good there, actually. I learned heaps there. So I remember they were, like my manager at the time and everyone was speaking and the recruit manager was speaking obviously, like when the COVID happened, there was like a bubble and I wasn't in that bubble, but they wanted to keep me there because I said to them that if I'm not going to be in the bubble, like my parents want me home because everything was closing. And my mom said, listen, if you're not playing, come home. Like, you're there for footy, which I told them that. I said, I'm here for footy. If I'm not training or playing, I'm going to go home. And when you just need me back up, I'll come.
The move from Cowboys to Newcastle then, was that during COVID, was it?
Yeah. So the recruitment manager that got me up to Cowboys, well, he scouted like Ponga and scouted Tamaloa. They call him Virus. So he got me up there. He was leaving to go Newcastle, and at the time he rang me. Was speaking to my manager saying, "I want Jacob to come Newcastle." So I just signed a free contract with Cowboys. So at the time, I was back home. It's been like 6-7 months, and when he told me that, I was like, "I'm closer to home, 100%." Like it was a no-brainer for me. So we had to work out lots of things at the time to get the clearance done because they knew he was leaving and then they knew he was going to bring me. So we had to work out a few things. Like obviously I said, obviously, I was homesick at the time as well. So, but I had to go Newcastle and all that. So it was, nice. I couldn't go Newcastle, man. So when they were giving me the clearance, they said, you can't go Newcastle. But then we had to work out a way. But thank God, so I was closer to home, which was good.
Nice. And it all worked out in the end. You ended up in Newcastle. So the same guy that scouts something in Kalen Ponga, sees something in Kalen Ponga and brings him over, sees something in you and wants you to follow him from Cowboys tonight. Well, that's pretty big. Yeah. That tells you there's something special in this. and obviously those who have watched anyway that there's something special about the way you play. But that's even more of a testament to that.
And did anything happen in Newcastle? Did you any breakout, any kind of first grade appearances?
No, I think I had an NRL trial there, and I just played. I think the first year I played the cup, so I actually lived on my own there. I got a unit, and my parents. I was coming home every two times a week, and it's 2 hours. Like it was still hard. Don't get me wrong, really hard. Like I'm still away from home, but what motivated me was like I was going home here and then, so it was good. But it was at the same time it was killing me because I'll go home and then eat, and then I'll know I have to go back soon. Yeah. But I remember we played 12 games and then COVID came again, so it was an interrupted year again, and then so that year was done, and then I remember I think lots of the boys went to Gold Coast that year because of the bubble, And because I was a development player at the time, so I wasn't top 30, I was like a top 36. They just left while I was at Newcastle just training. So I was just training with a couple of boys who were the younger boys. So yeah, that was still hard because there's lots of times, I was speaking to mum, so I'm just going to come home. I could train at home. Like, no one knows nothing. Which at the time, like now looking back, I could have done that. But, it was all right because when I was up there, it was just training with, some of the boys now I still speak to.
So how many years was it, like a year and a half maybe of not playing footy? Is that what it was? Or
yeah, it would have been a year.
A year.
Proper full year. Yeah.
How's that?
Or say a year and a half altogether. Yeah.
Altogether.
Yeah. It was.
Did you ever think like, sack this, I don't want to do it anymore?
Yes and no, I didn't because I knew I was still in the system. I was still always in the system with I knew, and I signed the contract too. So it was if anything, I was actually motivated to just keep training hard. So when it does come, I'm ready to go because I knew lots of people and players. That probably would have you lose motivation. You don't know when you're going to play against. So they're like, oh, it's all right. When preseason comes, we'll just train again. Well, I was like, I wanted to be ready. So yeah, obviously went back home for that off season. Relaxed with the family, and then I had a few things to work on, and I remember they wanted me to put weight on, they wanted me to be fit. I remember my first preseason with Newcastle wasn't that good, but I was a young kid, I was still learning at the time, so I came back heavier, very fit, and then it was just it was around December where I just had a gut feeling, and it was scary. I had a gut feeling that, and I was top 30, so this was last year. It was supposed to be last year, so I was a top 30 in 22, and then I remember I rang my manager, I rang my mum, dad, and I remember, you just know I feel from training. I said, I don't know, I just feel like the opportunity is not here for me. I said, I don't know what it is. I just have a gut feeling. Like I'm training. I've done everything just I don't hold any grudges with anyone, but I did everything, they wanted me to do, and I felt fear. And the coach was giving me praise. And then I said, I just feel like, I'm like 4th, 5th string, like 17-year-olds in front of me when we were training.
Oh, wow.
So it was just, I said, if you can get me to another club, then I was talking about this year. If you can get me another club next year, can you get me? And he's like, well, Dogs are keen now. And then I was like, I said, okay, I'll think about it. And then they said, but they can't give you top 30, but they can give you a trainer trial for 15 weeks, which means, you go preseason, you train a trial, and then that's it. So I remember parents were saying to me at the time, it's not easy. You got a top 30, like you got 15 weeks of trainer trial, and then that's it. You have no contract. Like that's how it is. So it was a big risk, but I said to my parents, I said, I don't want to go back to Newcastle, and it's the opportunity's not there. I said, I'll go train my ass off for 15 weeks, and if they want me, they want me. And thank God that's where it all started from.
So that obviously required a bit of self-belief on your end to be able to go through a time where the outcome wasn't guaranteed.
Yeah.
And we asked this question a previous week, and maybe we got to reverse a few more years, but when do you start to develop that self-belief that you're actually an athlete that can crack the top grade?
Yeah.
Like, when does that click in your brain that, hold on, maybe I could be a top 30 player in the greatest rugby league comp in the world?
Yeah, it's not easy. Obviously different players are different. Some takes them, ages. Even for me, it took me a bit. Obviously, I didn't, like I said, I didn't make anything younger, so I never had that belief. I always said, I saw players making it. I'm like, if I can't make this, how am I going to make NRL? That's how I thought of it young. And, what motivated me was actually Josh Mansell. He was very similar to me. And, he played for my junior club. So I remember someone kept saying Josh Mansell never made, juniors. He never made juniors. He went and played for Rabbitohs under 20s. So that motivated me saying, you don't have to make all this stuff. And then, eventually as you get older, I felt like, when I went to Dogs and it was a fresh start for me, and I felt like I said to myself, I'm not going to worry about a debut. I just want to worry about killing it in reserve grade. And if I do that, everything will just work out. So I felt like the more games I played in reserve grade, coaches were happy, and I just knew that it wasn't like not getting easy, but I was doing like pretty good, where it was just like I wanted to kill it every week, and it was just making me, and thank God, that's what got me my debut in round 7. And it was obviously I couldn't debut to round 11, but a big COVID outbreak, and then they wanted me to debut. So I feel like Dogs, when I went back there, my belief started to happen again. And obviously, home, being around home too helps heaps. They say when you're happy, outside of footy, you're happy on the field. And don't get me wrong, I was happy at Newcastle, but when I knew it was a fresh start, Dogs, they don't know who I am. They haven't seen what I did the last preseason. They just know I'm there just to prove myself. And So
Amazing.
for like different ages.
And we'll get to your debut in a second as well. But reverse a little bit.
Yeah.
The move back to the Bulldogs, was that anything to do with Gus Gould or?
Yeah, so the chairman at the time, John Curry, so he actually when I was coming from Cowboys to Newcastle, Dogs actually wanted me, but I wanted to go with the recruitment manager. Dogs said, we'll get him back, But then I said, nah, and thank God, everything happens for a reason. But then, John Curry went and asked Gus, and then, I remember, I think Gus was saying a story about this, how he watched a couple of my highlights, and then he said, I'll give him 12, 15 weeks. So he just trusted John, and he watched a couple of highlights, and he said, So, Gus had a bit, he had even now when I go joke with him, I'm like, because he had his other recruitment manager, he actually, he got me the first day at the club, so he came and grabbed me. So I say to Gus, I said, no, you didn't get me, bro. He starts laughing, but he's a mastermind behind it. So
Nice. How is having Gus at the club? How's that?
Yeah, he's good. Everyone reckons he's like involved always on the field, but he's not. Like, you don't really see him. Like, he'll come maybe once every 2 months and just G you up in a meeting, but in a good, like, rev you up. But no, he's good. Like, he's obviously doing lots behind the scenes with all the academies, with the juniors, and our juniors are doing pretty good. So yeah, he's really good.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, then you play a bit of cup with the Bulldogs, and you're carving up there. It was a good season in New South Wales Cup for the Bulldogs. And then round 7 comes. This is before you're according to the rules, you're actually allowed to make your debut as a player outside of the top 30. But like you mentioned, because of COVID and everything, you make your debut against the Broncos, and it was Anzac round, I believe. Is that right? Okay. What were you? Firstly, how were you told about your debut?
So I got a phone call. Usually, this was 3 days before the game. So usually, reserve grade come in an hour later than NRL in the mornings. That's something. Now it doesn't happen, but some teams that's just how it happens. At the time, that's how it happened.
Like for training,
so, for stretching and stuff. So NRL come in, do their meetings, and a cup comes. So I was coming in at, I don't know, say 8:30. I'm pretty sure it was, and I get a phone call at like 7:30 from my reserve grade coach saying, "Listen, there's been a COVID outbreak, but just come in, just watch video just in case anything happens." So I didn't think of anything of it. I just said, all right. But it was mad because I went in the video and like Foxy's there. And, as a young kid, Fox, all the NRL, and I'm in an NRL meeting. So it was the biggest shock to me, watching video. It was the outside backs. And then the coaches, and then Baz was there, Trent Barrett at the time. He just said, Kiraz, so they were seeing who I'm guarding, and it was Farmworth at the time. But I didn't know. He's like, oh, yeah, Farmworth. So Kiraz, you're going to be sweat on that? And then I was like, yeah, I'll be sweet. And then he's like, yeah, because you're gonna be playing centre this week.
Oh, that's awesome.
Honestly, it was the biggest shock. I was in the meeting and I wasn't even listening because I was just still around my head. The first thing I wanted to do was call my family, but I didn't want to call them or anything because I wanted to tell them at home, surprise them. But then they told me, listen, it's gonna leak, so you better tell your family. Okay. So I rang family, and mum and dad were over the moon. But it was the best feeling ever. It's like, you dream of it as a kid, and then, because I wasn't expecting it to be that early, that's what probably hit me more. Because around 11, the coach was speaking to me around round 5, round 6, said, like, listen, like, keep going the way you're going. Round 11, like, like, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're in. So it wasn't like, I'm going to be in 100%, but like, because it was unexpected, and it was just at Suncorp, Anzac round, like, everyone's dreaming. All the boys making me nervous. 30,000 people. I'm like, bro, and then so it was good. It was the biggest shock, and then they told the whole team, and everyone was G'ing up. So it was good.
I love the way they broke it to you. Just come in for a video session, and it looks like one of the prominent centers of the game, and you're going to be defending him this weekend. Are you all right with that?
And your response was like, yeah, all right, sweet, yeah.
I was like, I was just like, and then I realized, like, he didn't officially tell me until after, like, saying that, and then it rattled me. I was so rattled.
Oh,
but it was good.
But bro, you must hold your nerve like pretty well, because in front of 40,000 fans or whatever, however many there were, you came out like firing, man. And every single Bulldogs fan that watched you, and I'm sure every other fan that was watching that game, went, this guy is serious. Like those runs, especially like the runs that no one wants to take, those hit-ups.
Those extras,
Yeah.
My old man, is a particularly hard person to impress.
That's fair.
He's a big Bulldogs fan, and I remember watching your debut game with him, and he said, "Oh, geez, that Kiraz, he's got potential."
Hey, that's massive.
Mad, that's mad.
That's massive.
Doesn't he run the ball pretty hard? Look at those extra efforts, and he goes, "Yeah, there's something there. I think there's something there."
Yeah.
And that's my old man.
That's mad.
But I think any fan of any team, but especially Bulldogs with the struggles we've had and over the few years, is we just want to see passion
Yeah, I know. 100%.
in the shirt. Like we want to see someone coming out to play for the Bulldogs and to just put their heart on their sleeve, go all guns blazing, put 100% in, and we've been lacking that. And then we see Jacob Kiraz make his debut, and we're like, firstly, all the Lebs were like, yeah, hectic. Like this is
We've got one. We'll claim it.
I know, exactly.
Yeah. Like we're like,
He's my cousin.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Everyone claiming to be a cousin. That's it. And
My uncle used to say, he would say, in Lebanon, if my sheep or my goats and your goats ate the same patch of grass, we're related. I was like, that's what it's like. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so for the Lebanese community, I mean, we were pumped to see you make your debut, obviously. But then the Bulldogs fans to look and go, yeah, like finally someone who plays with that passion. Is that just something in your, like, is that just part of your personality, or is that, I don't know, something?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. And yeah, it's probably a part. I take lots of things to heart, and I was that nervous before the game, and yeah, I'll get even now, like I'm still so nervous. So it's just like our nerves are normal, but yeah, I just take everything to heart. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but when it's on the field, I just take everything really personally. And as well, I always said this, I knew all the sacrifices I made to get there, like living away from home, so I knew that, like this is what I wanted to do, and I wanted to, prove that to lots of people, that, and even myself, saying, it was all worth it. Like all those sacrifices was literally for this one day. Like you move away from home, you do all the training sessions your parents take you when you're younger, everything, like the games you lose, the games you win, like all those feelings is all literally for this one game. And this one game could, like, sometimes it makes or breaks you. And I came out, thank God, I was ready, because I said, I want to be doing good in cup. So, when they called me, that's why, I was backing myself, and, thank God, it all worked out good. And yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. For more clips like this, check out the videos to your right. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, comment, all the good stuff, as Father Ben says. And don't be afraid to go against the grain.